Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph. If you haven't tuned in before, thank you so much for watching. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour of our raised garden bed, a bit of an update, see how it's going, travelling along, and I also thought that I would show you our second raised bed that we've put in, plus a tour of our herb garden, which is done in some raised sort of planter boxes. So yeah, if you're interested, stay tuned and I'll show you through it all.
I thought I would give everybody a little bit of a garden update. It's been 3 weeks since I planted. And everything is doing really terrifically in this bed. We've put in another bed last weekend, so about 6 days ago now. It's had a heat wave this week, so it's probably really looking forward to some cooler weather just to kind of regroup itself, whereas this bed had the best start because it got planted on a cool week and I was actually worried it'd be too cool, but then everything actually it really helped it, I think, and the bed is just so moist and it's just filled with water. I'm really happy with the bed so far. I feel like everything I've done to treat it and get it prepped and ready in terms of leaving it sit for the week as well with the compost has helped, whereas the other bed didn't get that same treatment, but I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. Anyway, we've got the dwarf beans which are starting to really shoot up, lots of fresh shoots coming on them, which is great. Noisy cockies here in Australia, cockatoos. The marigolds are doing terrifically. Been really impressed so far with just the diversity of plants and kind of what I've been watching off other people who are practicing sort of, you know, square foot gardening or permaculture. The bugs seem to sort of take a little bit of a nibble and then seem to go away. So that's some basil doing terrifically near the tomatoes. My lettuces have just been going off. Just sprinkled them lightly with water this morning just to keep them moist. It's going to be a warmish day here. This eggplant's, the Lebanese one, is growing a lot slower than the Bonica, but that's okay. We've also had a sprouting. I'm still undecided about whether it's a pumpkin or a zucchini. I'm just going to let that grow and then I'm going to retransplant once it's a bit bigger somewhere else in the garden. Bonica hand grafted eggplant is doing really well. As you can see down in here, it's got a lot of new growth and it's shot up quite a bit in height. So I've just popped some stakes in yesterday ready to stake when needed. I've got some radishes that I planted from the Woolworths Discovery Garden. I was a bit concerned at first, but they've started to finally take off. This gorgeous marigold speaks for itself. The cos lettuce, they are doing so well. I would say that we're probably could start harvesting in the next couple of weeks, just some outer leaves, but we're probably maybe 3 to 4 weeks away from a complete cos, so that's gonna be perfect timing for summer salads. My radishes have been going so terrifically. I'll show you down here somewhere. Hang on. Got some beautiful radish sprouting. Got the mixed ones in here, so the red and purple just doing really wonderfully. I'll just cover those back up. I planted a couple of sugar snap peas because I planted some at my mum's. They're not doing well at my mum's at all, but the ones that I've got here are doing okay. They don't get too much sun. They don't get too much of they get the early sun and not as much of the afternoon sun, so that's probably a good spot for them. These dwarf beans aren't doing as well as the other end, so obviously there's just different levels of sunshine. Maybe they just need that little bit more. Same with, I've just actually removed this basil. I'm a bit worried that it's going to die, but it was sort of here and I kind of like separated some and moved it into the other bed just because it hasn't been doing terrifically. However, the Rapunzel tomato is doing brilliantly. At last count, there's at least 10 flowering sections, or like 10, yeah, more, as you can see. Mud. Yeah, Emmett loves being outside. Mud. Don't mind his outfit. It's pretty early here. Yeah, so lots of new growth, stacks and stacks of, what do you even call them? Flowers. Something like that. This basil here in between the two tomato plants is doing terrifically. It's a mixture of different basils. I don't know exactly all of them. I know that there's some Italian basil. Yeah, Frankie dug a hole, didn't he? A hole, that's right. This one started off a little rough. It was too cold for it. It was getting some dark sort of spots around out of leaves. But as you can see, the new foliage at the top is really green and doing really quite well. Again, this basil doing much better than the other basil down the other end. And this tomato here. So, sorry, this is the Grosslisi and this one here is, what is this one? That's a great question. I'm going to go find out. I can't remember. The tomato trusty. So kind of similar, quite similar to the Rapunzel, just a little bit different. And I also didn't mention, this is my bok choy that I've grown from an offcut and it's doing super well, especially given the warmer conditions, because normally apparently they're like cooler conditions. This bed's probably getting between 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that vicinity of sun. So I'm surprised that the tomatoes are just loving life. Okay, here you go. There you go. Just don't wet the tomato leaves. Yeah, tomatoes, it's okay because it's early in the day, but we don't want them to get burnt, and we also don't want them to get fungus, so try not to water them. Come over this way, baby. So guys, you don't know anything about my new bed, but my mother-in-law purchased us another bed, so a bed for me for my birthday. And this bed I've decided to plant a zucchini. I've left quite a bit of room sort of around it, probably about 3 square foot, just for it to grow. I'm just worried about Emmett spraying me with water, just because I want it. I love zucchini, so I kind of want it to have as much space as possible. I just recently planted out some Chiny. I don't know whether this is a pak choi or I think it's a pak choi. I planted a few of those actually out yesterday, so hopefully they grow as well as the other one in the other bed. I've got some chives, just some regular chives in this garden. They seem to be holding pretty well. Haven't seen, like, they've got a little bit of new growth happening, but hopefully they'll shoot up soon. I've got tomatoes in here. I've got an heirloom selection. This is a Amish paste. I wanted to plant a San Marzano, but they were all out at my local store, so Amish paste I thought sounded the most similar. I've also planted a mini Roma, and as you can see, different stakes, and the golden bumblebee. Yeah, sorry, sunrise bumblebee. This is Italian parsley, not Italian, curly leaf parsley. We had a 39-degree day, which is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it just roasted and literally crumbled. So I'm just going to leave it for a week or two and see how it goes, see if it gets some growth back, because it is still looking pretty green, so hopefully we have some luck there. I have planted some snow peas along a little trellis here. Hopefully they survive. We lost one in the warm weather, but the rest seem to be hanging in there, so I'm just keeping them very, very well watered at the moment. That seems to be helping. Yeah, another one of my sort of off-cut plantings, marigolds. I have got a capsicum sweet stuff, a firecracker chili, a capsicum red skin, and a Chili Joe's long cayenne pepper. So marigolds as well. As I said, I've replanted some basil from the other garden. Hopefully it holds. Today's not going to be too warm, so we should be all right. I don't know what my son's doing. In this garden, I've also got some beetroot, which is just sprouting in 6 days, so I'm really happy with that. And then over here, I've planted some carrots, so hopefully they'll pop up in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, pretty happy at the moment with how everything's going. Not as happy with my son watering the dirt. I thought I'd also show you my herb garden as well, so you can have a bit of a tour of that. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know. Okay, so I thought I'll start over here. This is just a strawberry plant that I was given by my father-in-law. It's already produced a couple and it's got some more happening there, so I feel like that's growing really well in that spot. It's a lot of afternoon sun here. This has sprouted up from seed. It's kind of bolted, and I haven't even really used it, to be honest, because we've been getting HelloFresh and I haven't really had the need to use it, which is kind of a bit of a waste. So I think when I rip it out, I'll either plant some other herb or maybe another tomato in here, because I've got some tomatoes that, I don't know if I showed you, but that have sprouted from compost seeds in my garden out the back. I've been growing spring onions from offcuts. There's not heaps, but as you can see, I've been growing them for a while. Like, we're on like the 5th offshoot. They were literally from tiny little nubs, so really happy. There's also some little violas in there. I just let them grow. My sage is looking a little yellow at the moment. It's doubled in size from last year when I first planted it. Didn't grow at all last year, but it's been doing quite well now. I've just got to watch him. We're getting ready to go out. We're going to a local market, and then we're taking him to swimming lessons. Anyway, I better go. I'll come back. So if you have any recipes to use sage, I know sage is delicious with like chicken and salted wok and in pastas, but if there's anything else that I'm missing out on, let me know. These violas have sprouted from seed, been growing. This rosemary's been growing for a year or two now, maybe a bit longer actually, and nearly died, and it's come back. And then the one at the back I planted last year. My flat leaf parsley has gone to seed, which is a bit annoying, but I think it's perennial in the sense that you get 2 years out of it before it goes to seed, so that would be true. This is lemon thyme. I've let it flower because I'm just using it to attract bees and pollinators at the moment, so I'm not too concerned, and I'm not using heaps of it, so I'm just letting it do its thing. Then I've also got some Greek thyme or pizza thyme, depending on what you call it. That's really nice in meaty dishes, in pastas and things, and stews. I use that quite a lot. And ditto on the oregano, which is doing fabulously this year. I often use a mix of the thyme, rosemary and oregano in like stews, and in pastas I use parsley, oregano and that thyme a lot. This is really good to marinate chicken in. And just rounding it out, it's nice and small and compact, just some more strawberry plants. So we've probably had about 8 strawberries off these. Oh, it's gone. Protecting them from slugs and birds has been a little bit problematic. I think I'm going to get some shade cloth just to pop over them, and hopefully that will stop that. I've also been trying to grow cuttings of my lavender, and this is my lavender. It's starting to sort of die back. Probably should trim some of it now. It's a fabulous pollinator. It really has helped. Initially I grew in pots over here. Whoops, sorry, it's quite sunny. Initially I grew in pots over here because they were actually at the back, and then unfortunately my dog, he was still a puppy, ripped everything out. So I had those 4 and I was growing herbs and things. And so we decided to move them out the front here. My husband's not the hugest fan, but I really like them. So I was trying to grow tomatoes and things, and I just found they didn't grow that well. Like tomatoes and herbs were the main thing I focused on. And now it's sort of just a bit of an assortment of things. I've got obviously room for a couple more if I wanted to. There's a pot in there that did have an indoor plant in that I let die. I'm not so good with indoor. So now I'm really just focusing on herbs. And by focusing on the herbs out here, I can actually just save a lot of room in my vegetable garden out the back for, vegetables and salads and things like that. That's it. That's my little mini herb garden that I've got going on. Everything's doing pretty well.